In today's episode of Funtastic, we present you our special English learner's guide to British phrases. We are chuffed to bits. What did we just say? Stay tuned and you will find out. British English is much like the people of Britain themselves, down to earth and full of character. We compiled the list of our favorite British phrases, 25 of them, that we believe will confuse anybody who didn't grow in the UK. These phrases aren't just handy for holding a conversation though, they'll also give you an insight into just how the Brits tick. Here are 25 fantastic British phrases. 1. Sod's Law. The Brits use the saying sod's law to explain bad luck or misfortune. It's the British version of Murphy's Law. 2. He's cream crackered. This slang comes from the British word knackered, meaning to be extremely tired. 3. Bob's your uncle. This saying has nothing to do with your family tree. It's an exclamation used when everything is all right, or you're all set. 4. They lost the plot. When someone has lost the plot, it means they have lost their cool. The phrase is particularly common in English football, where it is generally used when a player or coach gets in a fight or performs poorly during the game. 5. I haven't seen that in donkey's years. Donkey's years translates to a really long time, mainly because donkey's ears kind of sounded like donkey's years and became a rhyming slang term. The phrase was underscored by the belief that donkeys live a long time, which can be true, and have very long ears, definitely true. 6. I'll give you a bell. This means you will call someone on the phone later. It has nothing to do with an actual bell. 7. Quit your whinging. When someone is whinging, it means they're whining or crying. The next time your coworker is complaining about something, feel free to call him a whinger. 8. You're full of beans. Again, this saying has nothing to do with consuming beans. It really means to be in high spirits. 9. It's a real dog's breakfast. Some people say dinner instead of breakfast, but the meaning is still the same. A dog's breakfast is a mess. 10. He's such a chaff. This is a pejorative epithet in Britain that's used to describe a specific kind of stereotype, a working-class person who is loud or brash and wears, usually fake, designer clothes, especially the classic Burberry check. It is essentially the British version of white trash and should be used sparingly. 11. You've thrown a spanner in the works. When you put or throw a spanner in the works, it means you've ruined a plan. A spanner is the word for a wrench in England, so it's the British equivalent of throwing a wrench in the plan. 12. Let's have a chinwag. Though fairly self-explanatory, having a chinwag, sometimes chinwag, means that you're having a chat with someone, usually associated with gossip. Just imagine a chin wagging up and down, and you'll get the idea. 13. I'm chuffed to bits. If you're chuffed to bits, you're really happy or thrilled about something. It's also acceptable to say chuffed all on its own. I've just scored free tickets to the Beyoncé concert, and I'm well chuffed. 14. Spend a penny. This is another way of saying you need to use the bathroom. 15. That's manky. Something that is manky is unpleasantly dirty or disgusting. Its slang usage dates to the 1950s and was probably a combination of mank, meaning mutilated or maimed, the old French word manquer, to fail, and the Latin mancus, maimed. You can also feel manky if you're under the weather. 16. A right bodge job. This is one of those British phrases that refers to something someone has done poorly. 17. My cat. She's a moggy. A moggy or moggy refers to an alley cat or a cat without a pedigree, but it is often used interchangeably as another word for cat. 18. Spanner in the works. To have a spanner in the works means someone or something messed up the plan. 19. This was an absolute doddle to do. A doddle is a task or activity that is extremely easy. Though the origin is unknown, it dates to the 1930s and is still common. 20. Totally chuffed. At first glance, you might assume this means being worn out or tired. But it actually means pleased or thrilled. 21. I'll give you a bell. This means you will call someone on the phone later. It has nothing to do with an actual bell. 22. You're taking the piss. When you take the piss with someone, you're being unreasonable or taking liberties. For example, if a cashier overcharges you on something, he is taking the piss. It can also be a stand-in phrase for when you're mocking or teasing someone, though this is more commonly said as taking the piss out of someone or something. For example, they're always taking the piss out of John because he likes Taylor Swift. 23. Like chalk and cheese. This British phrase means two people or things are fundamentally different or incompatible. 24. I've dropped a clanger. When someone makes an embarrassing gaffe that upsets someone else, that person has dropped a clanger. For example, if you offer your seat to a pregnant woman on the subway and she tells you she's not actually pregnant, you may have dropped a clanger. 25. Horses for courses. This phrase essentially means different people like or are made for different things. Know of other great British idioms that we missed? Send them to info@verbalistseducation.com. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of our Funtastic Stories, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from the Verbalists Education and Language Network, please visit our website or follow us on Instagram @Verbalists. Thanks again, we'll see you next time.